Hello, welcome ladies and gentlemen to the Top Dog League week one of the Top Dog Star League presented by Thunderdog Esports. It's a little bit of a mangled introduction, but I think we get the picture. This is game number one between Carleton and Renegades of Hell. Representing Carleton in the bottom right, it is going to be the blue Terran player Cygnus. And in the top left, representing his team, the Renegades of Hell, it's going to be the yellow Terran player, Jarppi. For those of you that don't know, Carleton is a university league, so they are, of course, very active in the Collegiate Star League, finished in the round of 8 last year. Cygnus was on the school starting lineup, but didn't have the greatest results throughout the season. So oftentimes he was playing very, very highly ranked opponents. We're talking top 50 grandmasters, that sort of thing. So he wasn't able to put a lot of wins in the column for his team over the playoffs, but he did, he was definitely part of an extremely successful team. So it'll be interesting to see what he brings out today. Jarppi, of course, on Renegades of Hell, a fairly competitive team from Chile, I believe, though I may be mistaken in that. And he has previously been Grandmaster in the past. I believe this account is currently unranked on the current season, but I would not be surprised to see some fairly solid play out of him. And both players opting for fairly similar builds. Jarppi is getting a faster gas. We'll have to see if Cygnus is going to bang. No, okay, what am I talking about? Cygnus has the faster gas. He's already mining from it. There you go, messed up already. So Cygnus with the faster gas. Gonna have to see what he does, but Jarppi is sending that scouting SCV across the map. Gonna just knock on Cygnus's front door and see what's up, and it looks like he's going to be able to get in because that wall off is not complete. Cygnus opted to put his barracks closer to the command center, save a little bit of mining time. Sometimes with the gas first, it can be beneficial to wall off because it keeps your opponent guessing, but at the same time, I guess it could still keep his opponent guessing if he's trying to hide that. And it looks like a little bit of a delayed orbital command by Cygnus. It looks like, oops, we caught you on that one. But we see Jarppi he went for that barracks at the wall, which would put him slightly behind economically. But with that delayed orbital from Cygnus, I think I would put Jarppi just slightly ahead. Of course, Cygnus's wall is going to be able to open and close completely, whereas the barracks is in the way. We'll see. I mean, these are very, very small details that are very easy to notice as a caster, but may or may not affect the shape of the game all too much, depending on how it unfolds. We do have a reactor coming down for Cygnus, so I wonder if we're going to see Widow Mines or Hellions coming out of that reactor, if he's going to swap that around on the factory. Both players mirroring each other a little bit. Second gas finish for Jarppi, and you can see, look at that, bam, 3 SCVs in the gas right away, and he's still knocking on the front door, trying to see exactly what's going on. Let's take a look at the vision. Does he see... okay, so he saw the factory, didn't see the starport, so we have a 1-1-1 coming up for Cygnus. He is getting Hellions queued up, and he's going Hellion Marine. I wouldn't be surprised to see some drops. Actually, both players opting for an aggressive opening. There's a tech lab going down on Jarppi's factory while Cygnus is still making Hellions. So slight build deviations, but the first Hellion for Cygnus is across the map. And this is something that I think Cygnus learned the hard way to do in one of the round of 8 matches against SCD Corleth, who managed to sneak one Hellion in and scout his all-in, which ended up costing Carleton the match and eventually the series. So it'll be interesting to see, cool to see these additions going on and watching players improve as they play the game a little bit. Let's just take a look at that Hellion. You can see the cool flames on the side. Never noticed that. I like Ultra. Yeah, watch that Hellion pick up dirt as it travels back across the map. Not a whole lot going on right now. We do have more Hellions coming out and a drop in that super speedy medevac from Cygnus. So we kind of poked the front door, saw the Marines, now he's backing off. We have a Raven coming out for Jarppi, so very safe. If there was any sort of Cloak Banshee shenanigans from Cygnus, because he didn't get to see that second gas, the Raven would be very beneficial against that. But Jarppi's going to get that out. Okay, I was thinking 2 factories, but no, he got the tech lab on the factory, swapped it with the starport. He's got the Marines, he has a wall. He's reactoring Marines out. I feel like this is a very safe opening from Jarppi, and depending on where that mine goes down, it could be very devastating to Cygnus, who's going to actually elevator his Marines onto the high ground. No, I don't know how this goes. We do have yeah, Cygnus is going to have to get out of there. I was going to say he's got the medevac, but just with the positioning, the Marines, the Hellions weren't really able to give the ladder support that they needed in that Widow Mine. I think Cygnus saw it, or else he would have dropped further over here. But that Widow Mine definitely getting in the way of Cygnus's drop. But now he can drop those Marines off, pick up the Hellions, and those are going to be way more mobile. You can see Jarppi's in position trying to deal over here, but bam, in comes the drop with that medevac boost, and it looks like a couple SCVs are going to go down. Two Hellions go down already, though, and I don't know if that was quite worth it. We see on the workers killed tab none, so 2 Hellions down, but he is keeping Jarppi pinned in the back of his base. Supplies fairly even, and we do see Cygnus is getting his own command center and adding what looks like 2 barracks. Yeah, here we go. We have the production tab open. 2 barracks as well for himself, but the orbital already started for Jarppi. I would put him ahead. Cygnus, I mean, Jarppi's slowly opening up an advantage. Did he actually just pick off that medevac? Yeah, he did. So that's going to give him a nice little edge. You see he's got a slight supply lead from that. And the Marines are just kind of going home. I like this. Leaving one Marine just says, hey, what's going on? And he's going to see the siege tank, the Viking, the Raven, and a lot of Marines, and he can't be too happy with that, but at least he knows what's going on. Actually, 2 siege tanks out, and man, this Terran army, like, Jarppi's playing very, very smart. I really like the way he's done this. Adding more barracks on, so we see really very, very similar builds from both players. It looks like Cygnus getting another command center. He recognizes, hey, I need to pull an advantage out somewhere here, because at this point, we've seen Jarppi go for a little bit more of a defensive style, played a little safer, and now he's up 2 siege tanks. Cygnus doesn't even have a tank in production, so we'll see if he's able to hold on to this push. Air superiority at the moment, let's take a look at the units tab. It's actually, oh wow, it's in Cygnus's favor. I was going to say, if Jarppi was producing Vikings this whole time, he should have the advantage, but Cygnus probably recognized that and got 2 Vikings out, so that is going to actually negate a lot of the effect of the siege tanks, because if you have the siege tank control and the Viking control, then in Terran vs. Terran you can really put the pressure on your opponent. But it looks like Jarppi's going to try to do that anyway with scans, and oh, those little bit of miscontrol. Oh, if that Widow Mine goes down, it could be bad, and it does, so that's going to open the door for Jarppi to come in. 1 Viking falls. That is going, and actually this Viking's targeting the Raven, so he's going to lose that air control. Interesting use of the Seeker missile. I don't know if Cygnus is going to be able to keep his tank or keep this expansion alive. Manages to keep the tank alive, but you can see Jarppi's in a very dominant position, and he should be able to just rally. Well, he's not rallying units across the map, so he's actually... yeah, I'd say he's playing it safe, but at the same time, he needs to be careful, because if these units get picked off, that advantage is gone. Cygnus could be right back in this game. But if you look at the supplies, you can see Cygnus is definitely down. I mean, Jarppi's mining, like, when he moved out, he lowered his orbital, right? So he's got that base going this entire time, and Cygnus has to be able to respond to that. Bam! That's rough. This is actually a really cool use of the Raven that, I'm sorry, I haven't been following the meta for TVT that much, or GSL, in the past few months, so I think, unfortunately, a lot of us on the Carleton team are going to be like that, and I don't know if that's something that Jarppi's just doing, or if that's something he's seen from the GSL, but that is really cool, and, you know, definitely putting Cygnus in a bit of a tough spot as far as this game goes. And yeah, this orbital, he either has to lift it or lose it, but he might just end up doing both. I mean, you can see he's trying to get as much out, but it's 86 or 87 supply to 55. And this is what I was talking about, where if you get that siege tank control and the air control, there's really not a lot that the defending player can do. Of course, with absolutely no support for his tanks, it does force Jarppi back. And remember, Cygnus did go for that 3rd command center, so Jarppi didn't really commit to trying to break him right there. If he did, I feel like he probably could have, but in a way, Cygnus has eked out an advantage because he got that 3rd base up. Now, we do see Jarppi is just adding on his 3rd base now. The upgrades are going for both of them. It looks like Cygnus is a little bit ahead on the upgrades. I'm going to see that. That's 1, yeah, so he is ahead on the attack upgrade for now, but if you look at the timing on Jarppi, I think Stim and 1-1 are going to finish right as he hits, and unless Cygnus gets the perfect engagement, this could be the end of the game. He left that Widow Mine in the front, which is really nice. Hasn't picked up any kills yet. There comes down the scan. Oh my goodness. If Cygnus doesn't respond to this, it could be devastating. He's going to drop the tanks in the back. That's ballsy. Wow. I mean, if he loses those siege tanks, suddenly this push just doesn't happen. Like, if he doesn't have twice this tank count of Cygnus, there's no way he breaks up that ramp. So, it's a pretty ballsy thing. I like that. Stims one Marine out, tanks that Widow Mine, so in case he wants to do anything, it kind of leaves that open. Now he's sending another Marine out. He wants to see what's going on exactly. Scans, gets a couple tank shots, or gets at least one tank shot into Jarppi's units. So Cygnus is doing everything he can to hold this. There is a Marine drop coming around the bottom, and this, I think, if that scouts this third base, it could be lights out for Cygnus, but it looks like he's going to just miss it. You can see Jarppi trying to inch his way up, sieging the tanks up here. We'll have to keep an eye on exactly what he does with that drop, because that is going to be very important. It looks like some more shenanigans positioning the tanks, moving them back and forth. Macro for both of them on point. You can see upgrades continuing to happen. Cygnus moving his Marines down. He does not want Jarppi to come to the back. Here comes the drop, though, and we'll have to see what Cygnus does to respond. He's pulling a lot back, and that might be the cue for Jarppi to come forward. Targets the medevac down, really nicely done, but he doesn't quite have enough Marines with him yet. And, oh, the Marines all die before the medevacs get there. Really needed to boost those medevacs while he stimmed his Marines. Now he pulls everything back to deal with this drop. And I'd say this drop has been extremely effective. We look at the workers killed. We see 13, 14 already gone. Very effective drop for Jarppi, and he's going to be able to bum rush the front. I think we're going to see GG any moment, because Cygnus just does not have the army to be able to defend this rush. And there comes the Seeker Missile. If that lands on the Marines, Cygnus isn't going to give them a chance to do it. That's game. And you can see Jarppi, very solid player, did get that expansion up behind it. So GG, well played. Looks like the Renegades of Hell take game number 1.